ladies! So this video is going to be my update on what's going on as far as, oh, do I just sneeze? Nope, I'm good. Okay. What's going on as far as TTC is concerned. So we are obviously in chaos a little bit. So it's a little bit complicated, but basically we're trying, but not right at this moment. I have two kind of tests in the offing. If you've been following me, you might know. Basically, my doctor has ordered an HSG and a recurrent miscarriage panel. So I'll start with the recurrent miscarriage panel. Sorry if you can hear the dog drinking, he's right behind me. But the recurrent miscarriage panel basically is something that my doctor ordered, and what they do is they test for kind of like a large gamut of different things that can cause recurrent miscarriages. So the two big categories are autoimmune disorders and blood disorders. So for example, for autoimmune, they're testing for like antibody disorders, and like lupus is one of the tests I know they ran. And then for blood disorders, it's things like blood clotting and blood thinning disorders, that kind of thing. So I went in this morning. Today is the 19th of February. Yeah, but today is the 19th of February, and I got my blood drawn, so I don't know if you can see the little mark there. But I got my blood drawn this morning, and how it works for me is I'm in a smaller city that's kind of remote, and so I have a smaller hospital. And so our hospital is a partner hospital to Mayo Clinic in Rochester, Minnesota. And so what happens is for this is kind of a more advanced test. It's a huge, obviously it's a big range. There's a whole bunch of tests that they're running, and some of them are more advanced tests. So what happens is my doctor orders the test. I go into my local hospital, and they draw the blood. So this morning I went in, and they took 47 milliliters of blood in 12 vials. So that's a lot. If you follow me on Instagram, I posted a picture of the vials. That was more vials than they ended up taking. The phlebotomists were so great. I got there and they saw that I was doing this huge panel. So they called over to their department supervisor person, and she actually was able to go through and eliminate a couple vials, which, in the grand scheme of things, maybe it doesn't seem like that big of a deal, but I have terrible, terrible veins. If you've been following me, you know that, sometimes it takes them, 6 sticks to find one that works. They'll, get a vein. Sometimes they'll get, a spurt of blood, and then it'll stop, and all kinds of crazy. So, and the phlebotomists, of course, know me, because I've been there, once a week for the past, 9 months. So, they were super nice, and they kind of got it shortened for me. But it was 12 vials and 47 milliliters of blood, so it's a bunch of blood. And what they do is they label them all, they send them down to the lab, but the lab doesn't run anything. They package them, and they get couriered down to Rochester, Minnesota, to Mayo Clinic, and the lab at Mayo actually does the testing. And so how it works is they start by just running all the first tests, and if they come back normal, that's it. They just send the results to my physician here, my OB here. If something comes up amiss or off or irregular or whatever, it automatically triggers more testing. And so that can either mean they retest the blood samples or test from, they send a couple extra vials, excuse me, or I go in and do another blood draw and they resend more samples. But basically, they do all the actual testing down there, but then the results get sent to my doctor here. And that process, my nurse said, can take a few days, at least. So it's Thursday today, so it'll be at least Monday or Tuesday. She said it can take up to 2 weeks, just depending on how the tests go, how busy their lab is, that kind of thing, because none of them are, stat or urgent. So that's that piece. And so right now we're obviously waiting for results. The blood draw went great. They made me sit for a while and made me drink juice just because it was a larger amount of blood, so they didn't want you to faint or something. So that's how that went. As far as what each specific test was, I don't remember. I had an email that had the whole list, but I deleted it because I was irritated. So I don't have the actual list. Look at this puppy. But basically it's autoimmune and blood disorders. So I'll let you guys know as soon as I get those results back. If you want more, like current updates, my Instagrams, I post Instagrams all the time. So that's the recurrent miscarriage panel. The HSG, I have to schedule based on when I get my period. So I know I've ovulated since it's been 6 weeks, 5 weeks. It was the 12th, I think, of January when I had my miscarriage. So it's been like 5 weeks since my miscarriage, and I know I ovulated probably about a week ago. I just couldn't ignore the symptoms. I'm not temping or doing OBKs, but couldn't ignore it. I knew that it was happening. So I'm kind of waiting for cycle day 1. I've had a little bit of spotting today, so I'm kind of hopeful that cycle day 1 will come today or tomorrow. But anyways, whenever cycle day 1 comes, I call. Sorry, I've got a couple hairs that are not behaving. I call in cycle day 1, and they schedule my HSG for cycle day 7 or 7 to 10. And I'm guessing it'll be on the 10 side, since my periods are usually a full week long, and this is going to be my first period after a miscarriage, which my past 2 have been heavier. That first period after has been heavier. So I'm somewhere around cycle day 1-ish, but haven't officially started yet, and my HSG will be sometime in the next, I would say 10 to 15 days. I'll get my period, and then they'll schedule my HSG after that. So that's kind of what I know as far as TTC is concerned. Our plan right now, at this moment, is to get the results from my blood panel and my HSG back, and then if both those come back good, we want to just start trying again before we do karyotyping. Karyotyping is the third kind of test they're considering doing. Basically, that's a genetic test to see if there's a genetic abnormality with either myself or my husband. But we've decided that if these 2 first rounds of tests, the blood test and the HSG, come back normal, then we want to try again, because there's a big percentage of people who do the full workup and don't ever find a reason. So we think that that might be what we'll do, is if these all come back normal, we'll try again and hopefully have a healthy pregnancy without further testing. If they come back, either comes back irregular, we'll obviously handle that when that news comes. So yeah, that's my TTC update as far as I know. So we could be trying as early as this coming cycle, or it could be who knows when, but soon. So that's everything. I think I've tried to end this about 4 times already. But if you have any more questions about where I'm at as far as TTCing is concerned, let me know, and I'll talk to you guys soon.